Good morning, guys. Gary out on the deck, and I forgot my coffee. Ah! That's better. Okay, so earlier in the week, guys, we did a impromptu Transcending with Gary video. And really, I'm blown away by the response. Not only the number of you guys that watched it, but the number of you that commented, okay? And the things we talked about in the comment section were all, things that were great to share and discuss. And that's what I want to do with this channel, is have a forum where we can all discuss things. We've been doing this on the channel a long time with a series called Surviving Together, which is a bit of humor, a bit of talking about things that are going on in the world, and just anything that isn't enlightening, a video from helping your friends to whatever we've covered in that series, okay? But now we're going to start a new series on the channel. I've done 2 videos already, and both of them had overwhelming response from you guys, so I think it's something that I need to do for myself, because as we've talked about Gary's journey, I'm always reading new things, spiritual growth, learning, challenging myself. Not only learning new things, but remembering things I forgot. Things that sometimes as we get older, I've realized that one of the things I'm struggling with is setting goals for myself, okay? The last couple of years, I really haven't had any goals. I've kind of just coasted along with working for our own organization. I run my wife's business. I worked at the college a little bit, but there was no goal setting by Gary, and therefore very limited growth. And so that's what I'm working on. In that last Transcending with Gary video, we talked about something that a couple of people missed the mark. Most of you guys got it. The point of the video was that I was upset with myself. I had come to a realization that there are certain things holding Gary back that shouldn't, okay? And in this instance, it was going places or doing things only when friends, family, or other people were involved and could make time to do it with me, even though I really wanted to do it. So there are a couple of things at play here. The most important thing that I barely glossed on in that video as I was walking along thinking and talking, it wasn't a planned out video. This isn't either, okay? But there are a couple of things I want to drill down on a little bit. The main point of that video is that I think we need to get to know ourselves better, right? We all have that little voice inside of us telling us, this is what I want, this is what I want to do, don't do that, that's not right for us. That little voice, we all have it. And there have been a couple incidents in the last month here that I'll point out as examples. The one in that last video was I wanted to go away for the weekend and do a weekend trip to watch the Toronto Blue Jays. A couple of people didn't get the gist of that video. Oh, Gary's throwing a pity party, was one of the comments. There was no pity party. There was no woe is me. There was no, oh, my life sucks because I didn't go to Toronto. No, the realization was that I'm letting other people hold me back by them not having the time or willingness or wanting to go, when Gary just needs to give himself permission and go. Okay, that was the point of the video. We need to give ourselves permission to enjoy the finer things in life, and that we can do things on our own. We don't have to wait for other people. And that was what I was kind of telling you guys. There was that point I touched on. Another point was getting to know ourselves, really. Okay? We think we know ourselves because we get so tied up in our work that becomes ourself. Well, that is not ourself, right? We can switch careers. We can have a midlife crisis, as I've stated myself. I've had one. Many of you have had one. Apparently, a lot of you guys in the comments, stated that you went through the same psychological changes that I went through midlife when I lost a job and ended up coming home to raise the children, right? So that was a phase that I went through. I went from running crews underground, 15 or 20 guy crews, to staying at home having tea parties with my 2 little girls. And that threw me into a deep, dark depression. And I know, and I'm not saying woe is me, this isn't a pity party. It's such a change, it's such a shock to who we think we are. I'm this manager, I'm this guy who gets it done, I do $1 million jobs, I do $1 million accounts, this is Gary. That's not Gary, okay? That is a part of Gary. It is the successful side of Gary who strove to hit goals at work, but it's not Gary per se, right? Gary is a lot more than that. And when you come to that realization, that gets taken away from you, that part. That's why we go through this process of, oh, what am I? And the sooner we go through that process, I think it's better for everyone, because then we start to analyze and question, who am I, right? My process of getting to know myself started back when I was 36, okay? I'm 45. So this has been a long road, and it's an ever-growing road, okay? With learning and reading, opening my mind, expanding my knowledge base. I just want to read half a page to you guys, because this sums up this book. And this is The Road Less Traveled, very famous book. Anyway, this is very important stuff, guys. The religion of science. Spiritual growth is a journey out of the microcosm into an even greater macrocosm. In its earlier stages, which is all this book concerns itself with, it is a journey of knowledge and not of faith. In order to escape the microcosm of our previous experience and free ourselves from transferences, it is necessary that we learn. We must continually expand our realm of knowledge and our field of vision through the thorough digestion and incorporation of new information. The process of expansion of knowledge has been a major theme of this book. It will be recalled that in previous sections, love was defined as an extension, that is, an expansion of ourselves, and it was noted that among the risks of love was the risk of moving into the unknown of new experience. And at the end of the first section on discipline, it was also noted that the learning of something new requires a giving up of the old self and the death of outworn knowledge. To develop a broader vision, we must be willing to kill our narrower vision. In the short run, it is more comfortable not to do this, to stay where we are, to keep using the same microcosmic map, to avoid suffering the death of cherished notions. That sums up this book perfectly. These are the things he's getting you to think about and work on. So something that I'm going to not necessarily give up, but I want to expand upon is my relationships. I'm realizing a lot of my relationships are either non-existent. I think they are. I'm the kind of guy who moved away for 20 years, moved home, and I think I still have this relationship with people. I guess I really don't. Because over the last 6 years of living here, I've called multiple times to go golfing, play tennis, come over to my house for our summer party, come and visit, go for dinner with the wife and I, da-da-da-da-da. Some of the friendships that I've had, some of these people have never even gotten back to us, okay? And yet we still send out invitations every year when we have a yearly party here. And I'm beginning to realize, I guess we don't have a relationship anymore. Some of those people, you're just going to strike right off the list. But there are other people that we still hang out with occasionally, once a year, twice a year. You know, and I think we can rekindle those relationships. But I think the point that Gary's at is I need to get rid of some of the ones that there is no contact with. You know, you can't keep making an effort when there's no reply, no response from some of these people, right? Gary needs to make a new set of friends for his current place in life, because we're not where we were, 10 years ago. Now the kids that I left work for to come home and raise are pretty much raised. My kids are 15 and 13, okay? So yeah, I still do things with them, but it's at a different level. I have a lot more free time. They're gone to school all day. Other than helping them with a bit of homework here and there, driving them to their events throughout the week, swimming, baseball, soccer, all the things that normal kids do. They don't want to hang out with dad anymore, right? It's perfectly normal. They're teenagers, and dad needs to, again, move on. That's just, part of the expansion of Gary, right? There is a lot that we need to transcend, right? It's not just spiritual growth. It can be 100 aspects of your life, things that need to change as you change through time. People don't stop and analyze themselves and say, where am I now? Here's where I was 10 years ago. We can look back and see that and say, wow, I've grown a lot since then. But we don't necessarily stop and analyze and say, where are we now? What are the deficiencies now? What do I need to work on now? And things that I need to work on are, giving myself permission to enjoy life more, making some new friends, seeking out adventure. I'm more outgoing now than I was 10 years ago. So as of this morning, I went through and read the comments over the last couple of videos. I always do. And I also looked to see how many viewers we had lost on the Transcending with Gary video. We're down 5. Now, I've also been making videos the last couple weeks. I've got 12 of them stored up for you guys, okay? So that means we're going to get a couple of Bigfoot videos every week throughout October. That work is already done, okay? So I may mention again about the Transcending with Gary video at some point, because I know I did. I think it's funny that we lost 5 subscribers. I think it's awesome, to be honest with you guys. They obviously don't get what we're trying to achieve here, and that's an opening of the spirit. Exactly what I just read to you guys out of this book, right? Letting go of small notions, being open-minded. So there will be a Transcending with Gary playlist. We're going to start adding videos, and that just gives me something to do in between the Bigfoot excursions and in between the other hobby stuff that I do, because I feel that spiritual growth and learning is a lifelong process, and many of us, including myself, get out of that. You know, when we get into our 30s, our schooling is done. We don't have time for that anymore. We're raising kids. We're teaching children. And that's not the truth of the matter. The truth is we forget more than we remember. So you can go back and relearn lessons that you were taught as a teenager or even a child, right? Some pretty basic stuff that we get tied up with, the everyday bill paying, working endless hours, whatever it is, right? And we forget some of the most basic lessons. And I hope to touch on these basic lessons in this Transcending with Gary series. Gentle reminders of these are the things we need to do. So the last video, it was getting to know yourself more, right? That was the point of that whole video. So I think that's a very important thing to do. You need to spend time with yourself alone to do that. Long nature walks work. You know, that's what works for me. Don't bring the dog. He'll just distract you. Go by yourself and just really talk to yourself, right? You're not crazy if you're the only person out in the forest, right? You can talk to yourself. Get to know yourself. That was the point of the last video, right? What do you really want out of life at the stage you're in? And a lot of you viewers, you guys go from 20 right up to 70, whatever, right? I can see all those stats on YouTube, by the way, so I know you guys are out there. And the 20-year-olds are obviously at a different stage than I'm at. And the 70-year-olds are obviously at another different stage than I'm at. So only you can analyze what you want out of life and where you're at. But that is an important step for all of us, no matter what stage you're in. Get to know yourself. What do you want out of life? And I guess the last thing in this video, like I said, is I'm not sure how I'm going to do it, but I need to expand my friend base, right? I really want a couple people that I can go metal detecting with. I want a couple of different people that I can do photography with, and I'd like some people that I can just go to dinner with, you know, and talk about whatever's going on in our community. So I want to have friends from a lot of different groups. And in years past, I'll give you guys a tip. How I used to do it was I would join a sports team. Whatever city I was living in or had just moved to, the wife and I would usually join a co-ed team of some kind where both of us could play together. We would meet couples that we could hang out with, and then I would also join men's league, whether it was soccer, baseball, whatever sports, and then I would meet new guy friends through that. Another thing you can do is if you have kids that you're bringing to sports every week, you can start hanging out with the parents, right? I've met a lot of great people that way through this. Over the last few years, the kids are in soccer, baseball, all kinds of stuff, swimming, drama. So I've actually met probably 3 or 4 other couples that we spend a lot of time with through that. And my kids are actually trying out for new things this year. The youngest one just joined volleyball. So I've got a whole new host of parents that I have not necessarily met that I can now meet and try to make some friends there as well. So that's just my idea. How do you guys make new friends? That's my question for this video. Comment below, okay? As a 45-year-old who doesn't want to be creepy, how do you make new friends? Comment below. Thanks for watching, guys.